hopefully.
Cool.
Okay, why don't we start off with introducing who you are.
My name is Morgan Lee, winemaker at Covington Cellars and Two Vintners.
And how long have you been making wine?
Well, I've been with Covington 5 years in May, so that's coming up. And prior to that, 2 years as an intern, one at Columbia Crest, and my first vintage was 2005 at Tabor Hill Winery in Michigan.
Oh.
Yeah, 50,000 case winery. It's actually a pretty big winery.
Wow.
Make some good stuff, and they make a lot of shitty stuff as well.
Yeah. Well, where do they source their fruit from there?
There.
Oh, there.
Yeah, they import a little. They bring in a little bit of California products, but mostly all estate fruit.
Cool. All right, so let's talk about Two Vintners.
All right. So Two Vintners came about. So Two Vintners being myself and Donovan Claflin, assistant winemaker. Donovan started with us at Covington in 2008, and when the 2007 vintage started coming out in 2009, so 2 years after my first vintage, there were some things that I wanted to do that we weren't really doing for Covington, being primarily Merlot and Syrah. And they didn't really have a home with Covington. You know, our focus has always been more Cabernet Franc, Sangiovese, Cabernet Sauvignon. And so David and Cindy graciously allowed me to take some product that we had already made, some fruit wines that we had already made, and put them under a different brand. So we started Two Vintners. Our first release, so we bottled the 07s, and the first release of those was in, I believe, it was like May of 2009, if I remember correctly. And we started out with just a Pepper Bridge Vineyard Merlot and a Columbia Valley Syrah and a blend called Lola, named after the requisite winery dog.
The famous dog.
It's a half cab, half Syrah. So now we're starting to release our third vintage already, so time flies. Most of our 09s are out, and just got a couple reserve things in the works that have yet to be released. And working on our second vintage of white wine right now. So
let's talk about the white wine. I've heard a little bit about the Grenache Blanc. Tell me about it.
White wine is, to put it bluntly, kind of a pain in the ass to make. But we wanted to have one in our program. And we wanted to do something unique. And I started working with Dick Boucher with Sangiovese in 2009. And with 2010, I knew that he was, at the time, the only person even growing Grenache Blanc in the state of Washington. And Doug McRae of McRae Cellars is, I believe, the one that asked Dick to plant it in the first place. And until we came along, was the only person even making it. And not only do I love the grape, I love what Doug does, but also most of Grenache Blanc comes from Spain. Actually originated in Spain, and it's a important Rhone white varietal, but pretty rare here. So rather than do something that everybody else is doing, love Rieslings, love Viogniers, sometimes love Chardonnay, but definitely want to do something unique. And we figured Grenache Blanc is about as unique as it gets. Plus, again, really enjoyed the fruit. Nice high acid. Dick's site is a cooler site in the Yakima Valley. So it really retains its acidity and has a really distinct citrus note, and it's just really good stuff. So, and for both the 2010 and the 2011, we added a little bit of Roussanne. Roussanne kind of a fatter grape, if you will, so it kind of fattens up the mid palate and gives it just a little extra aromatics and weight. And so we this year, with the 2011, it was about 10%, and 5% of that was co-fermented in the tank. And last year was about 14% that we added after fermentation.
So what's the process then? So how much involvement did you have in the vineyard, and then once you got it back over here? So
we're, during harvest season, I'm in the vineyard weekly. We source altogether about 8 different vineyards. But white wines are typically the first wines to come off. Grenache Blanc, actually most things from Boucher Vineyard hang on the vine a little longer just due to his placement in the valley. It's a little cooler, so things don't ripen as fast. So both years I haven't picked Grenache Blanc until first, second week of October, which is pretty late for whites, but I found that's just what works there. So I'm over there weekly, testing, tasting for acidity and sugar, you know, and pretty constant involvement on the phone or otherwise with Dick. And we get all the fruit hand-picked, and we bring it all over the mountains ourselves. And we have our own truck. And so right now, I think Dick has, I believe he has about 6 acres planted, and I'm sourcing almost an acre of that.
Is it typically a blend grape, or
it's yeah? There are other. So all those, the rest of that 5 acres, a lot of it goes to McRae, who uses it in a straight varietal, and also there's a number of wineries that are sourcing small amounts of it to put in their Rhone blend whites. So a lot of times it's, and even in France as well, it's blended with Viognier and Picpoul, and I'm drawing a blank, but some other varieties, but mostly Viognier, Picpoul. But I have found, I think it's just a great standalone.
Yeah.
Oh, and Roussan, obviously, using a little Roussan. And the Spaniards do that as well, to a certain extent. Of course, I'm saying.
Let's keep going. So what are the characteristics of the Grenache Blanc that when you were making it, you realized, okay, this is where I want it to be? Like, what were the expectations you had going into it, and then did you meet those expectations?
From what I had tasted, and again, I keep referencing Doug. You know, he's kind of a pioneer of all things Rhone in this state, and that was really the only benchmark for Washington. And so I bought a couple bottles, a couple different vintages, and tried them. Trinity, you're okay.
Sorry.
It's okay.
And so what I learned from Doug's wines is, you know, and from the same vineyard, was that level of kind of citrus and almost like a grapefruit characteristic that it has, a little bit of lemon, like lemon rind, and so that's what I was going for. And then having tasted some old world stuff, both Spain and France, knew that I wanted to make it a little bit, dirty sounds wrong, but you know, I wanted to have a little edge to it. So we did about a third of the fermentation in neutral French oak, just to kind of give it that little extra aromatic. We stirred the lees weekly, and that really kind of softens the palate. But again, the acid is high. So
right.
I guess all things considered, you know, I really wanted to have that big kind of citrus acid kick to it.
Yep.
And just be a really great food wine, which it is.
And what would you pair it with? Speaking of food.
It's fantastic seafood wine, and then again with the citrus, it really goes with a lot of spring, summer salads. You know, definitely lighter fare, fish, seafood, salads. Trinity had made our chef had made at one point a salad that involved some grapefruit and goat cheese, and it was absolutely perfect.
So where can people find Grenache Blanc? Where are we buying it now?
Well, it's definitely gotten some hype. So a lot of different specialty retailers or wine shops. We're definitely a small winery, and we only made, I think, we yielded about 150 cases. We bottled it yesterday, and so it's not going to be widely distributed to grocery stores for the most part, but local wine shops and some restaurants, and also just our tasting room here in Woodinville. And we open up on Saturdays, noon to 5. And last year's sold out in about 6 months, so I made a little bit more this year, so hopefully it'll last a little bit longer. But,
Great.
yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Good. Thanks.
Thank you.